between the two series, there's been a 3-year gap, and I think what we gain from that is it's been very peaceful. So Gwen and Arthur have just been kind of getting on with life in Camelot. But obviously at the beginning of this series, there's the ever-present threat of Morgana rears its head. And Gwen is now obviously queen, and she's been sort of, I guess, building her confidence in that role over those 3 years, and now to a point where Arthur is happy to just leave her in charge, and she kind of handles it very well.
Yeah, she does. She sort of seems to completely warm to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How was that for you as an actress? Do you ramp your sort of performance over it, now you're queen?
I guess with this particular character, I've always felt that she would be quite a good queen, because she has that sort of humble, she has humility, but she also has very sort of noble nature. And if I wanted someone to be my queen, I would think she'd be a pretty good choice. So I think the series has prepared her for that, and all the things that she's dealt with throughout has prepared her in her relationship with Arthur. The way she's sort of seen him become a great king and be so different from his father before him, and I think it's prepared her and also me as an actress for that role. So I kind of felt pretty natural to sort of slot into that.
It's great. I mean, it's a legend. So where do you go? Can you go anywhere to find out what she was actually like? You can't, can you?
Well, no. I mean, there are obviously different representations of her. I think Vanessa Redgrave played her, and various different people. But it's this series is very much of its own thing, really, its own world. And I think.
Did you look at any of these other representations?
I have seen some of the others, but only through in the past, because I've enjoyed the sort of fantasy, genre, But I wasn't looking to sort of be like anybody else. I wanted it to be my own thing that I've created through the writing, and I wasn't kind of looking for tips or anything. I'd do my own thing.
And did the writers talk to you about how you'd like your character to develop at all? I mean, is there a two-way process?
No, they don't really. We don't get to have a say in
Here
that.
she is.
This is it. Do this. Do as you're told. But no, I'm really pleased with the way they've developed. I mean, she's always kind of been, a bit of a moral compass in the show. She always does the right thing. And I think the character's probably quite a good role model in that sense. And she's maintained that throughout, which kind of makes her pretty strong, I think. So I've kind of enjoyed that.
And what's it like playing opposite Bradley? Because I hear he's a bit of a prankster. Is that
everyone always says he's a prankster.
Sort of IMD line.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe once in the first year, he played a prank or something, and that's kind of stuck. I mean, he's definitely a bit of a joker, but so is lots of all the rest of the knights and all the rest of the cast are as well. So I wouldn't pick him out particularly as a prankster, no.
And there are comic moments, but it definitely feels a lot darker, does it?
Yeah, I think because I think as Johnny and Gina were saying, the audiences have grown up with the show, and you do need to kind of expand the sort of the sophistication of it to sort of match the audiences. And obviously it's more interesting in terms of character development to see that we've moved on, and we are dealing with dark situations. We're dealing with life and death, and it's kind of weird to sugarcoat it in a way when it actually it's it is life and death. It's not. It's serious. But then there's always moments of levity and lightness throughout, which they make, which I'm always really impressed the way they make that work. It can sort of come out of nowhere, but it totally works. So. And
I've been talking earlier about these are horrified at the mistakes they made. I didn't really. I mean, there was a bit of criticism of the dialogue early on, but did you as an actor have any sense of that? I mean, that they were making mistakes in the first two series.
No, I didn't feel that they were making mistakes. I mean, only from sort of a personal point of view. If I look back into series 1, it's mainly about the way I look compared to now, and I've come a long way from the linen tabard, to the red velvet gown.
So the outfits have picked up.
The outfits have definitely picked up, but I wouldn't say that was a mistake, on their part. That was intentional. That she had have somewhere to go. But as they say, we've all learned from what we've done and in the past, and now we've got to a point where we're kind of each time it's getting better and better, and I think that's really impressive.
Well, she looks far more glamorous. She's a queen. I mean, do you have any input on the outfits?
I did.
Or is it the same outfit? Does it change? Or?
No, there are a few different outfits. Yeah. I didn't necessarily have a say. Although actually I did text the costume designer before we started shooting and said I think we should have some off the shoulder this year. And so she obviously
Dairy.
well, she said it was funny you should say that. So she was obviously already thinking the same thing. But no, I don't necessarily have to say. But I love the costumes anyway. I'm so happy with them. I wouldn't necessarily.
The look of it is great.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
What's it like on set? Because I hear, it's shot in France, isn't it?
Some of it is some of it.
Right.
The castle, the chateaus in France, but the rest of it is in Cardiff and Gloucestershire, surrounding areas.
Oh, okay. But I was interested, when you're in France around the castle, there are lots of tourists and sort of Merlin tourists, aren't there?
Yeah.
What's all that like?
Well, that is it's a bit mad, because when we first turned up, there were 4 German girls who somehow had heard about the show. That was it, and there were other people visiting the castle because it was open to the public. Yeah. And now it's full of hundreds of people who have come to see us. Filming.
Really? How does that work?
Well, they're out there. They can come in because the castle's open, so it's not we can't sort of stop people from coming in. So the runners and the ADs have to move the crowds around the courtyard to sort of keep them out of the way.
They can see the filming.
They can see the filming, and they've also got camera phones and all that sort of thing. So I remember when I first stepped out in that red dress. Somebody came up to me from the camera crew and said, "Look, Angel, you're on Twitter in Canada or something." Someone in Canada has tweeted this picture of you, and
it's very brave of the show to let it all out, isn't it? Because you don't want to give it away.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we've all had to sign confidentiality clauses, and I remember we were saying to the producers, "But how on earth are you going to manage that in France? Because you can't stop people from." Coming to see the castle, and you can't really stop them from filming or taking pictures. So, but I think most of the fans, they don't want to spoil it for everybody else. They don't want to spoil the storylines if they happen to, notice something, or if they happen to pick up on a particular storyline. I think they'd rather keep it secret because they want everyone else to enjoy the show as much as they do.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a big worldwide hit now. Do you get any sense of that when you travel? I mean, do people recognise you?
I'm trying to think. Have I been recognised in other places? No, only in France, but that's because it's a very small sort of area where we film, and so the fans who have come to see us are often maybe staying in our hotel as well, or in the in the same village. But I get it in London when I'm walking around. I get people from different places coming in saying that they watch the show and stuff. So
yeah, and I guess would you hope for it just to go on and on? I mean, can you see it? 6, 7, 8 series? Can you really?
Well, I mean, I don't. We never know until we've sort of finished what the BBC want. But I guess if people, want the show to continue, then we'll keep, making the show. But I guess as an actress, it's always nice to have variety. So I'm not sure if I'd stay in it forever.
For 10 years.
But no, I think you need to move on and do other things. But,
can you do anything else while this is on?
You do get. Yeah, I did Stephen Polikoff drama series, which couldn't be more different, called Dancing on the Edge, in which I played a jazz singer just before we started shooting this series. So you have about 5 months on. That's coming out in January next year.
Oh, okay, right.
So yeah, it was good. It was great to have something completely different to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to mix it up and do different things. So so you do get that chance. You get 5 months in between where you can do other stuff.